Let's talk about it. This sunny days, 305 degrees podcast. Let's talk about it. So, as most of you know that my first sunny days, 305 degrees podcast, I completely took it down off my YouTube channel because my constituents and myself didn't feel like the page or the broadcast was going in the right direction. So I had to come together with a team, a content manager, an editor, a producer, a brander, and a marketer to relaunch Sunny Days 305 Degrees podcast. Let's talk about it. And I'm so honored, really honored, to have as a reintroduction to Sunny Days 305 Degrees podcast, my co-host, my brother, my other half, my ride and live, Big Sweet. What's up, bruh?
Man, it's always a pleasure, man. Being a platform with you, man, and keeping this thing real. Keep it family. Real as it can be, cause it'll always be hot up in here, bro.
So I'm honored. I'm more than honored. So Sunny Days 305 Degrees podcast is going to come out with Let's Talk About It. Let's talk about it on Sunny Days 305 Degrees podcast, straight out of Miami, where we could take dark situations and dark instances and shed some light on it and broaden it out so you could see it clearly. So today we're just gonna have some conversations with me and Big Sweet, the co-host of Sunny Days 305 Degrees. Let's talk about it. So we're gonna talk about Big Sweet. I'm just so excited. Let's talk about a couple of what was one of the most intense situations that you've been in during your however long you were locked up. You can let our people know that. But what was one of the most, out of so many, one of the most intense situations that you've been in during your going away from being in college?
Well, man, it was a lot of but one of my most intense was I was in Long Park, California. After I done been down probably at this time almost 7 years, and we went through this thing where they have down in there in California. There's a lot of politicking down there, so I never thought that the Crips and the Bloods and the Mexican gang and all that was real. So when I got down there and I seen all these different type of gangs and the Bloods, the Crips, the Mexican Mafia, the Black Guerrilla family and all that, I was like, wow. So it was almost coming up to Christmas, and the little homies, down there in jail, you get drunk, you get high, and you get all that there. So, it's like a day before Christmas, and the homies was gambling with some of the little Crip dudes, and us dudes out of Miami, we can cheat good. So we some of the biggest cheaters around the world. So anyway, the little homie, they put the little cheat game down, they won all the people money. So, right, long story short, big fight break out, and they go through it. So on the next day, as the prison system go, if you get in a fight with different type of gang, or if you ain't from California and you from the South somewhere and you get into it with the South, you know what I'm saying, against the California, they automatically just lock you down to find out what's going on and take people to the hole that can't survive. So they didn't do that. So when the doors open, you know, it's the Florida dudes. We only had like 20 dudes down there, and we in California, so the Crips probably outnumber us like probably 40-1 or 40-2 or something like that. So, bruh, it was like they popped the doors open, so we ain't, you know what I'm saying, really know what's going on, because it happened on the east wing and we on the west wing, so we really don't know. So when they popped the doors and everybody, you already got to stay strapped. So you already know what's going on, you know what I'm saying, about you staying strapped. So when we come on the tier, only thing we hear is, yo man, y'all get them dirty niggas, y'all get them dirty dudes, man. So we like, dirty? We the only one that ain't called dirty, because we from the dirty side. So bruh, it was like, it was so scary because we outnumbered. It's like 2 in this unit and 3 in this unit and 4 in this unit. So me and the homies, man, we just backed up against the wall, man, and strapped down, and bruh, it was so scary, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to call the old girl and tell her, bruh, mommy, listen, if I don't make it, I love you. So man, it was so scary for me because I was on my wild path, so I ain't really care, but I was scared whether I was gonna kill something or be killed. So, bruh, it was down there in California was one of my scariest moments, man. You know what I'm saying? With the knife going off and the locks on the belt and all that there. So, bruh, it was rough. You know, that was rough, bruh.
So I remember like always calling when I call mommy, you know, I always, you know, really used to be concerned about what was going on with you, you know, because to be honest with you, I didn't start really doing my time until you got free.
Yeah.
Because I always thought that it was my fault. And then I knew once they separated that I really couldn't be there with you to go through what you had went through, you know. And so, and I think, and like me and you know, once we separated, while we were together, you know, because you know, even though we brother, you kind of different from me. You more hot tempered than I am. So I'm the type of guy you gotta push me to do something, but you always be on point and be ready to go all the time, you know. And so I had heard, I mean, some of the guys that had after you transferred, you know, some of the guys, they would come back and tell me, yeah man, your brother the shot caller from the South, man. Your brother pushing that knife up there, your brother doing this and doing that. And while he was excited telling me that, man, I was doing a lot of praying, you know, hoping, you know, that you survived that. And I remember mommy called me and told me that day you called and said that you might not make it, and if you don't make it, that she loved you, you know. So I was happy, you know, you did 20 and a half years. I was happy that you had got out.
Yeah.
You know, because I would have felt like I would have been responsible if something would have happened for you. And then when you got out, then I like, oh man, I can start thinking about me now, you know, because I know, you know, I chose the righteous way, you know, I was a Muslim and searching, so I kind of did it differently than you did it. But thank God we sitting here today to, you know, basically talk to the world, you know, basically, you know, tell our youngsters, you know, man, prison is, you know, it's not what they said it was when we were young, that you could go in there and come out swole and talk about all the books you read and talk about all the fights you had, you know, especially in that federal system. You know, a guy might not make it. So how much time did you actually do?
I did 20 and a half. You know, most of my time was spent in like, hot prison, penitentiaries. Been through Long Park, California Penitentiary, Beaumont, Texas Penitentiary, Atlanta, Georgia Penitentiary, and you know, man, you know, during the time that I was doing time, I was like, man, you know, I don't know if God is sending me to get killed, or is he building me up for something else. But you know, in my mind, I was like, man, I can't die up in here because, man, I be letting my brother down, I be letting my mom down, I be letting my kids down, you know what I'm saying, my wife. So I learned the art of being aware and and knowing how to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? So in them type of environments, you always have to be on point. You always have to learn body language, and you know what I'm saying, peep out when something coming at you and be able to move. You know what I'm saying? Whether you ain't strapped up, and you know what I'm saying, like that. But in prison, man, that's no place to be, because you don't want to be walking around every day. You got to carry a knife when you go to the shower, and you know what I'm saying, when you use your bathroom, have your celly to wash the door. So, man, prison ain't nothing, man. Prison, you know, but like you said, man, we was hearing, you know what I'm saying, the homies going to prison, and yeah, wow, I went to prison, boy. I come out swole and this here and that. Bruh, that is no place to be. You know, I used to be in them prison, man, and we ain't used to see birds, you know what I'm saying, come, you know what I'm saying, to the compound. Birds don't even much want to be in them, you know what I'm saying, them situations, bruh. So, bruh, that there's nothing to be talking about glorifying. You know what I'm saying, man, I did 20 and a half years in prison, man. I was a G, you know what I'm saying, dude, listen to me. Nah, I hated that, man. You know, and one day, I was in the cell with the big homie, you know what I'm saying, rest in peace, Stretch. And we had just went through it with the California dudes, and he was like, look, bro, man, I be telling you, man, don't be letting them dudes follow you, and man, but man, I understand your situation and this here and this there. So, man, me and Stretch was in there, and Stretch was bruh, he'll knock you out quickly, you know what I'm saying, with no problem, bro. But man, me and him cried in that cell, man. It was like, man, we need to go home, man. We got to go home, man. And he always to tell me, man, sweet man, don't let them dudes trick you out of your life, man. So, bruh, prison ain't nothing, man.
I remember, in conjunction with you saying, I remember sometimes, you know, you have to, like you say, you will feel if something not right.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going to some areas where some stuff was about to go down, and I felt a certain type of way, and that feeling, and in prison, you will learn how to follow your instincts real quick.
Real quick. You
know, like out here, you might not follow your, or what you say, your first mind, or something told you something, but in prison, when something tell you something or you feel something, you gonna follow that in the first quarter.
Or either lose your life. Either or. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like prison life is totally different. You know what I'm saying? From being in the street, and then you run in the street, and you know what I'm saying, your homie might can have your back. But in prison life, you got to actually see who your homies is. Because some of them dudes ain't cut like that and gonna be like, nah, man, sweet, and you know what I'm saying, pick up that knife and roll with you. Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Right? You have some homies, but you have very, very selected homies that actually just gonna, you know what I'm saying, ride all the way out. So, you know, bro, right? We wasn't prepared for no prison life, or trained for no prison life. So, you know what I'm saying, we just had to adapt, you know what I'm saying, use our mind, and be fast thinkers. You know what I'm saying? Because you always was a fast thinker. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was able to pick up, because you know what I'm saying, back in the day, man, when we used to come home and people used to be robbing us, and all of a sudden you would be like, them took off. So I'd be like, oh my goodness. So I was able to use that in prison. So that would really help me a lot, bro. So you know what I'm saying? All the time, that's why I always thank you for everything that I done been through and was able to survive it, right? Because your instinct, you know what I'm saying, helped me out.
Well, I always say to myself, I hear certain things about myself, and I always say, man, I thank God out of all the wrong that I've done. You know, I thank God that there are memories, you know, of some things that I did right. You know, I also I heard you mention just now about people getting out of prison and taking that as a badge of honor. And one time I heard you express where a guy that was working on your job, you know, he called some people around and he pointed at you and was talking about how much time you did and you were OG, and I heard you went off on him.
Yeah, because you know, glorifying badness or glorifying unrighteousness, you know what I'm saying, that ain't no badge of honor. So, you know, when the dude was explaining to some of the dudes to my job, because some of the dudes, you know what I'm saying, was from out of the city, he was like, boy, you don't know Sweet? Man, I heard well, there you go right there, man. Sweet them did 20-something years. So when the dude approaches me, came to me, I was like, bruh, hold up. Don't give me no praise for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I'm a stand-up dude. I took my time. I did that. But, bro, I could have died. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to be here today, you know what I'm saying, expressing what was going on with my life, but I could have died. So don't glorify me being in prison. You know what I'm saying? Glorify me from doing the things that I'm doing out of prison. You know what I'm saying? And was able to make it out of prison with a couple of scratches and bruises, but I was able to make it, you know what I'm saying, with my right state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Ain't lose no eye or no limbs or nothing like that. So don't glorify me.
Now that's a good subject, because I remember when I was able to transfer from U.S. Penitentiary in Atlanta, and we had went to a lower level institution. And so when we had got there, the people were talking about them dudes coming from the penitentiary. They have knives. They'll stab you. They'll do this to you. And so when we got to that prison, you know, them people was on high alert
Yeah.
when we came there. You know what I mean? And not really understanding the reason why we got there, because our conduct was good in the higher levels penitentiary. So they sent us to a lower level institution where the restrictions wasn't as heavy on us. So I can understand how somebody will talk about your reputation, you know, and then set somebody up to really probably harm you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they just telling your information. So that was really good about, you know, not glorifying being in prison. Not only that, not glorifying things you did as the old person or things people do as the old person.
Yeah.
Right? So I thank you for bringing that up. And so with that being said, I want to fast forward a little bit and ask you, you know, how did you feel when you actually got out of prison? Your first, say like your first 15 minutes being out of prison.
Man, that's a good question, because I was in Kentucky. So, you know, I had to take a bus. I didn't think my bus driver like 20 some hours, right, from Kentucky to Miami. And I think they came and got me like 12 o'clock that night, and on the bus took me to the Greyhound station. So man, when I got out of the the prison van, I was lost. I was like, man, I was like, am I free? So I'm looking at the van, you know what I'm saying, this to make sure, is he finna leave? So man, I was caught between scared, don't know where I'm going, or is I'm ready for it. So you know, man, I cried, and like it was like 24 hours, 23 hours or something, and then when I realized, man, I'm free, 20 and a half years, man, I'm free, and I ain't had them seen no trees and like for like 8, 12 years.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Say what you said. What you just said.
I ain't had seen no trees in like about 8 or 12 years.
How?
Because I was behind a wall. You know what I'm saying? The only thing we were doing was just looking up and seeing the planes going by and seeing the birds going by. So man, when that chance came and I seen the cars riding by the, you know what I'm saying, the Greyhound bus, that like fascinated me. I was like, man, I'm finally free, right? But I wasn't free because my mind wasn't focused yet. So man, it was scary, nervous, you know what I'm saying, and me not knowing.
I think for me, it was a little bit different because I got released down here from Miami. So I can't imagine if I had to drive the bus a whole 24 hours to get here, right? So I was released from Miami and my family came to pick me up, or our family came to pick me up. But once I got outside, like you, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then immediately I caught a migraine headache because I think the new information was downloading in my mind too fast, right? And so, you know, I'm trying to act normal because people, you know, they have a stigma on how people act when they get out of prison. So I'm trying to act normal, right? So I get in the car with my family in a Suburban, and I noticed that all of them they concentrating on their phone, right? So I knew people had phones, you know, we ain't have, but all of them doing something on their phone. They concentrating on their phone. Probably about 6 or 7 people in the Suburban, they on their phone. So I don't want to act out of place, so I act like, you know, trying to act normal. You know, I don't know what they doing. And then as we were riding down the street, you know, everything was new to me. You know, then I seen people on the bus stop with phones, and stuff was just going so fast. I actually had a migraine headache. You know, and that's when I realized that, you know, everything is a privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a lot, you know. So I know we're not gonna be able to cover everything in this first live. It's a lot, but you know, I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah. But that'd be amazing, bro. You know, cause you know, being on a regular bus, you know what I'm saying, not shackled and not having a guard behind you with a gun, and being able to just get up and use your own bathroom, the bus pull over, you can get out and you go get right, and get you something to eat is like being taught something over, right? I'm free. Oh man, but can I get off the bus? Can I go in there? So it is that was rough. Yeah, that was rough, bro.
Myself, from time to time, the last time this probably happened, this probably happened hadn't happened about a year now. But I used to notice that I had to think before I speak, and I had to think before I move. You know, for an example, you know, say if I was in a restaurant or in a line somewhere out in the public, and somebody skipped the line. In my mind, you know, I'm supposed to do something about that. You know, that's what I was taught. I'm supposed to do something about that. So in prison, you know, a person can jump in front of the line while we at the chow hall, you know, and we don't know if he having a diabetic attack, or we don't know what's on. All we know is he disrespecting us, and then somebody or some people probably gonna go get a knife,
Kill him.
or even if they don't try to kill him, they gonna whoop him real bad. But their first mindset is, especially if it's a guy that been in prison, that know the rules. You know, if it's a new guy, you might say that he don't know, but still might whoop him down, so he'll know the next time. But if it's an older guy that been in prison for a while, that's supposed to know or supposed to be a convict, we dealt with them different. So I know that I had to think. So if somebody cut the line in front of me at a restaurant or somewhere, I think about it first, because my first mind is to do something. That's the prison mindset. But then I have to tell myself, you not in prison. That's not how you deal with things out here in society, you know. So I still find myself going back and forth from that at times. But like you say, I'm glad that I could think.
Yeah.
Because long-term prison sentences, it damaged a person's mindset. And if a person been in 22, 23, 24 years, you know, he's not gonna come back into society and jail right in immediately. It take years. So while we have a whole part 2 to do on prisons, I want to close this segment out with when you shortly after you got out, you know, and I thank God for your wife Sherelle. Thank God for her, you know, and thank God for my wife Corinthia, you know, that's stuck in there with us when, you know, times was dark, you know, and when we came out of prison, we wasn't immediately fit for society, you know. So family members, wives, children, grandchildren, all that, they had to be patient with us while we reacclimate ourselves back in society, because we were kind of, as society say, we were crazy, but in prison, that's normal life, you know. So I witnessed this, and I think it's worthy to mention as we close out this segment. When you first came out, your wife had to kind of walk in front of you, because, you know, you were paranoid, and tell us a little bit how you dealt with that situation, what was going on with you, with some of the things that you used to do.
Well, with that, you know, I was very paranoid, because my prison journey was high intense, real high. So when I got out, I was still alert. I was still like, I don't want nobody in my space. So I used to walk with my wife, and she noticed it. Right? She noticed that I ain't like nobody cut in front of us, or if we in the park, don't park right there, cause I got this spot. And she told me one day, she said, "Babe," she said, "You all right?" So I'm like, "Yeah." So one day we go up to the store, and this dude just rush up to her. So I was used to carrying a knife, but when I got out, I couldn't carry a knife, so I used to carry 2 pins, right? So when he shot up there, I immediately went to defense mode. You know what I'm saying? I pulled my pins out, I stood in front of her, and I was finna hit him off. So she was like, babe, hold up, wait a minute, right? This the dude from my old neighborhood. Yeah, but bruh, don't come up on my wife like that. So me first being out, it took some years, right? And it took my wife, it took my kids, you know what I'm saying, to actually just, daddy, hold up, wait a minute, this ain't how it is, right? Because you know, being in Beaumont, Texas, right, what they call Bloody Beaumont, it's like every single day or every minute of the day, right, is something happening. So you have to be ready at all times. So when I got out, and I wasn't stable. You know what I'm saying? My mind wasn't ready for it because Miami always been fast. Now is at warp speed. Everything moving. So you're like, oh my goodness, hold up, wait a minute. Let me get prepared because I don't know. So, bro, it took me some years, and I'm still like fighting it, right? Because I'm not gonna let nobody come to Walmart and push their buggy in front of me. Still, I'm like, nah, bro. So it's rough. It is. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, thanks to our wives and thanks to our children, we have something to guide us. You know what I'm saying? From not acting a fool, as they'll say, because yeah, we're acting a fool, right? If we feel like we disrespected or violated, it's still gonna come out. So, man, it's a real challenging situation with you know what I'm saying, this being out and not finding your mind or finding your strength or your place quickly. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, so once again, let's talk about it. This sunny days, 305 degrees, where we talk about all topics. No topics is barred.
None.
Today was our prison experience, volume 1, and our revamping and reintroducing of sunny days, 305 degrees, with a focus, with a positive purpose. And we'll see y'all on the other end at sunny days, 305 degrees, where you could ask a question and we could talk about it.
And it's real.